You've heard the classic fairy tales. The princess waits in the tower to be saved. The dashing prince comes to her rescue, beating back any foes that stand in his way. They get married and live happily ever after. That story is told, and we are moving on to the true heroes now. Oh, and did I mention we're talking about graphic novels today? It's going to be fun. First up is a short piece probably meant for a slightly younger audience called Princess Ever After by Katie O'Neill. Just like a classic fairy tale, the story starts with a princess in a tower. But that's where the similarities to a classic fairy tale end. Our dashing prince is actually a princess, and she is looking to make her mark on the world instead of being married off to some boy. Along the way, our two heroines find themselves and help others do the same. Spoiler alert, the book ends with their own happily ever after, but only once they've both succeeded in their individual goals. Katie O'Neill is an award-winning author of graphic novels and is known for her inclusive writing. She's perhaps better known for her Tea Dragon series, which receives an honorable mention here, even though it's not necessarily for teens. Not only is this series of graphic novels the cutest thing ever seen, it is packed full of diverse characters. Characters of all colors, abilities, and sexualities live together in harmony. With dragons. It is never discussed, it just is, and that's the best thing ever. Back to Princess Ever After. I like this title for all it offers, but I wish it had more depth. The story is super short at only 58 pages. But it is so important in terms of representation and self-actualization. These princesses spend the entire time being supportive and caring. Why is this title reading woke? The main characters represent the LGBTQIA community. Many of the characters are people of color, including one of the main protagonists, and it has strong female voices throughout. Our next title is The Prince and the Dressmaker by Jen Wang. This graphic novel is about Frances, a girl who dreams of being a fashion designer. She works hard at a job she doesn't love until one day, a mysterious new client whisks her away, to the palace no less. Quickly, it is revealed that her new client is none other than Crown Prince Sebastian. But why would he need a dressmaker? Prince Sebastian has a secret. He loves dressing up in women's clothing. Wearing a wig and fabulous clothes, he goes out on the town as Lady Crystalia. With Frances by his side and designing his clothes, Sebastian feels on top of the world. But if anyone knew his secret, it would spell disaster for the kingdom, especially as his royal parents begin eyeing his prospects for marriage. I love this title. The reader feels the struggles Sebastian goes through so strongly, how vulnerable he is to share his true self with others, and Frances is his knight in shining fabrics, rescuing the prince by helping him to be himself. Our author Jen Wang is part of the Asian American community and frequently writes about diverse topics and characters. In an interview from Wang, she says, "This book is really special to me because I basically wrote it for my teenage self, which is something I haven't done before. I wanted a story that explored questions about gender and self-identity in a way that was really colorful and fun and positive." Why is this title reading woke? This graphic novel is a positive story about gender identity. In Wang's own words, "To me, Sebastian is someone who identifies with different modes of gender expression and is comfortable alternating between both masculine and feminine. Genderqueer is probably the best descriptor, but I'm also open to readers' interpretations of how they see the character." And now on to our last graphic novel that features an unlikely hero. Villain? Yeah. Nimona wants to be a villain. Anyway, Nimona is by Noelle Stevenson, and she is a different kind of heroine. Nimona is a shapeshifter, and she wants to smash the establishment, quite literally, often choosing large destructive forms like rhinos and elephants. She comes quite unexpectedly to the doorstep of Ballister Blackheart, the resident supervillain, telling him that she is his new sidekick. Blackheart, who lost his arm and now has a metal prosthetic, isn't like other villains. Although he has many plans to take down the institution, he always tries to do so while thinking about others. His arch-nemesis, Goldenloin, plagues him at every step, and he is never very successful. When Nimona and Blackheart team up, they uncover dark plots and work together to fix the wrongs that have been brought upon the kingdom. But Nimona brings chaos wherever she goes. Noelle Stevenson is an award-winning graphic novelist and has written other works, such as the Lumberjane series. She is also the creator of She-Ra and the Princesses of Power on Netflix. He is part of the LGBTQIA community. For all of its jokes and humor, this is a pretty bittersweet book filled with gray areas. The characters are well developed. No one is as good or as evil as you might think, and it's important to never take anything at face value. That being said, it's still super funny, and there's never a dull moment with Nimona around. So why is this book reading woke? Well, we have a strong female protagonist, a main character who is differently abled, and a romance that has representation for the LGBTQIA community. Want to join the conversation? Connect with us on Facebook. Let us know what books you're reading that are woke in the comments.